Welcome to the Real Estate Investing Morning Show with your hosts, Wayne and Gabby.
Hello, good morning, everyone.
Good morning, real estate investors across Canada. Welcome to the Canadian Real Estate Investing Morning Show. On today's show, we're going to be talking about all things real estate investing. But primarily, we got some news out of Toronto today. Says here that there's a real estate firm that is planning to buy over $500 million worth of Toronto condos and turn them into rentals.
All right.
Should be a fun and exciting story. Let's see how it plays out.
Very interesting.
Speaking of Canada, what's the weather looking like in Canada today, across Canada?
The weather today will be 13 degrees in Edmonton, 16 degrees in Vancouver, 9 degrees in Winnipeg, 22 degrees in Toronto, and 20 degrees in Halifax.
All right. Thanks, Evie.
Sounds like a great day across Canada.
Mm-hmm.
What do you say?
I say it's looking mighty fine.
Yeah.
I don't mind this weather.
What did she say the weather was for Edmonton?
Like 15-ish, I think. 13, 15. I can't remember.
Okay. Yeah, for those of you guys that missed it, we are broadcasting here live in Edmonton, Alberta. Full-time real estate investors here. And we broadcast the show live every weekday morning at 7 a.m. on YouTube live. If you want to join us live, all you got to do is just join in on YouTube. Just go search up Wayne Hillier, and that is where it is broadcasted live. And then obviously the recordings are sent out through the syndication there through Spotify and Apple Podcasts and Google Play and all the other different podcast platforms. But joining in live, there is definitely some perks. You get to hang out with other like-minded real estate investors. Mm-hmm. There's a whole community of real estate investors that join us every weekday morning to collaborate, to communicate, and to also get their questions answered. We provide free coaching for real estate investors every weekday morning. It is the only free coaching in Canada every single morning. All you got to do is just wake up and bring your questions. Just come join in live on YouTube. And you can put your questions right in the chat. Additionally, you can also send in any questions you want by email.
Yes.
You can send it in to info@reimorningshow.com. Who's joining us live this morning on YouTube?
Yeah, it looks like a lively bunch this morning. We have
A lively bunch?
a lively bunch.
Okay.
Maybe they'll bring some questions.
All right.
We have Chris here, says, morning all, looking forward to hearing about the bus tour.
Ooh, yeah.
We have Kirsten here with us. Good morning, Kirsten.
Kirsten was at the bus tour.
Yeah, she says, good morning, everyone. And she also says, hope you all had an amazing long weekend. Kyla's here, says, morning. Nori is in the house, says, good morning. Kirsten says, Chris, the tour was fantastic. We have Craig here, says, good morning.
Where was Craig this weekend?
Yeah, Craig.
Craig would have loved that bus tour.
Where were you, Craig?
Craig would have loved it.
We have Carmen. Carmen says, good morning.
Carmen would have loved it too, but she had a pretty busy weekend.
Yes, yeah. Was it one of her kids got married?
I'm 99% sure,
Yeah. Congratulations to them. Looked like a lovely weekend. Manny's here, says, good morning. Let's see what else here. Chris says, it was a weekend for the books. Friends, family, bonfires. Didn't want it to end. That does sound lovely, Chris.
I love it.
Kyla says, looks like it's going to be a nice day today. Also says, it was so good to see faces from this morning group and other like-minded investors. So talking about the bus tour.
At the REI Masters bus tour this past weekend, yeah.
And yes, Kirsten says, just a lively bunch of coconuts.
Okay, so you weren't the only one that had that in your, as soon as you said a lively bunch, I was like, a lively bunch of coconuts. Okay, I wasn't the only one. Okay.
And Craig was at the lake lot freezing his buttocks off.
Why would you do that?
Yes.
Oh, he went down to the lake lot, brought a 2-4 for me, 2-4. Huh? Hey, bud.
I always just think it's so funny when everybody takes off to the lake and camping, and then all you see every year, it's no fail. I don't know why people think it's going to change, but every year you see all of the like snow pictures or like rainstorms and all the branches being blown all over the place. Like it's always a crazy weekend for weather. And but people that they keep doing it every year, year after year. Suckers for torture.
Can't break tradition. Yes, the REI Masters Edmonton Real Estate Investing Bus Tour, the sold out bus tour was this past weekend on Saturday, and it was awesome. Can I say that?
Hell yeah. It was so good. So good.
What was your favorite part?
What was my favorite part? I think honestly, my favorite part was just the group that we had out. It was absolutely incredible. Obviously, I knew the properties we were walking into. I had, a little insider information on everything that was going to be shared. But for me and my experience, it was an absolutely incredible group of investors that came out. I'd say one of the best we'd ever had. Just everybody was so awesome. The excitement was there. The questions were being asked. Everybody was networking like crazy. The conversations that were being had were awesome. I loved the people.
Yeah, that's a conversation that Gabby and I had later on that day. Was that maybe I shouldn't say this on the podcast, but I'm going to say it. Sometimes you have an event and it's like, oh God, that person's there. I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to pretend like I like everyone.
That one person.
There's always one or two people who are like, oh, that person really ruined the whole thing for everybody. But we had an amazing crew of people, an amazing group of people. I mean, close to 50 people showed up, all hopped onto a bus, and we toured a bunch of awesome cash flowing properties in Edmonton. Big shout out to Jazz and Rupinder for hosting their new deal, and also Samuel Huberto for hosting his new deal as well. Three of our students in the REI Masters Mentorship Program who were just absolutely killing it.
Yeah.
Absolutely killing it. And a lot of great feedback about Jazz and Rupinder's deal.
Yeah.
A seemingly ordinary deal.
Yeah.
A deal that most people would just completely overlook was the talk of the tour that day. Everybody, I'd say, not everybody, but of the people, I'd say there was at least 5 people that said they want to do what Jazz and Rupinder did. That's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
It tells me so many different things, but a few that come to note are that, one, you don't know what you don't know, right? There's so many people that like never really even recognized that opportunity until they went there. Mm-hmm. Another thing to note is that people got value.
Yes.
They came to the bus tour. They showed up. They're like, But then after learning more, after speaking to the investors, after the presentations were all done, they were like, wow, light bulb, light switch. Wow, I never thought about that, right? And so the only way to learn is to be open to learning.
Yes.
To showing up, right? To being coachable. And then that's how you get the opportunity to grow ultimately.
Yeah, there were so many great moments on the bus tour. And another one, Wayne, was revealing the garden suites.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, that was a huge thing that we've been looking forward to.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And sorry, I was looking at the comments here while we were talking. I was incredibly excited to finally reveal what we've been working on in our business. We have so many different things going on all the time, and sometimes we can't share everything. In fact, I'm trying to remember who I was talking to yesterday, but a lot of the stuff that we do is very proprietary. You know what I mean? We are always cutting edge. We are always trying to stay ahead of the curve. And so people get a little angry. They're like, oh, how come you didn't tell us about that? Well, fuck me. Like, I got to save some stuff for myself. You know what I mean? and the person I was talking to, they did say, like, I will give you credit. Like, the amount of stuff that you share for free every single day is mind-boggling, and we're so incredibly grateful. But yes, I have to keep some things quiet. I have to keep some things to ourselves so that we can still take advantage of the market as well. And this is one that we were holding tight for nearly 2 years. June, I've been working on this, not this individual project, but the whole project of garden suites in Edmonton and multi-unit garden suites in Edmonton since June of 2024. We finally got to reveal that to everyone, and I think that the response was pretty good.
People were very interested.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Fabian says, I was blown away about your project. Yeah. You could see Fabian's, all the gears turning. And
Yeah.
yeah, he wanted to know everything. Kristen says, aside from the chilly day for the bus tour, it was a beautiful weekend. Saturday was the perfect day to have the tour. Then fishing and camping and the rest of the weekend couldn't have been more perfect. That's awesome. Love hearing that. Kyla said, loved Sam's property, was such a shock. Ooh, what was shocking about it? Love to know.
Well, it's a pretty cool. Sounds like Sam might be building a garden suite on that property by the end of it.
Yeah.
Sam learned so much that he might actually be building a multi-unit garden suite on that property that it wasn't really originally planned.
Yeah.
So even some of the people that were hosting were learning things.
Yeah.
So it was just an amazing day full of education, networking, collaboration.
Yeah.
And a lot of new friends were made, I think. I saw a lot of new people hanging out and that they'd never met before.
Yeah. Yeah. Dennis just came in. Dennis says, good morning. Him and Andrea were there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good to see them. And Nori says, lots of value, a lot of context, great networking experience. Got to know my coaches in person. Yes, everything was amazing. That's awesome. It was so good to see Nori and Arabella there as well. Flew out from Vancouver, which was really cool.
Yeah, big shout out to Nori and Arabella for flying in from out of town for this specific, and Trevor as well. Actually, Trevor flew in from out of town as well to come to the event specifically. So that was great. And thanks to you guys for doing that. And it was so great to see you guys. And we're looking forward to our next event here coming up. We haven't picked the date yet. I want to do another bus tour. I really liked it.
Yeah.
We haven't done a bus tour in over 3 years. And we kind of miss them. Right?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it was a reminder of just how much fun and how valuable they can be to the community.
Yeah.
For sure.
To be able to get boots on the ground, to be able to actually go out and see properties, because we talk about this stuff all the time. I mean, do we not talk about it every single morning on the podcast?
Every morning, yeah.
But to actually go there and see it and to see it actually working can give that extra level of confidence, right? And assurance that okay, it does indeed work and there are people that are actually doing it.
Yeah.
Right? And so whether that be doing BRRRR projects or, finding a townhouse in Edmonton and doing some value add renovations to it and getting an amazing cash flowing property, or building a multi-unit garden suite on your property in Edmonton as well. Mm-hmm. I think that there's going to be, I'm looking forward to watching everybody who was there and what they do with this information and how they apply it to their portfolios. Very excited to watch that progress.
Yeah. Can I tell you quickly a funny conversation I had?
I'd love to hear it.
So Luke was at the bus tour, and Luke is a longtime listener, so it was nice to finally meet him in person.
Longtime listener, first time bus tour?
Yeah.
But it was great to meet Luke.
It was great to meet Luke and his son. But Luke came up to me towards the end of the tour, and he corners me and he says, so Gabby, I want to chat with you. I'm like, okay, what's up? And he said, every morning, I can't remember exactly how I said it, so I'm paraphrasing, but he's like, what I've realized is that it's really easy to actually purchase a property is pretty easy. And Wayne, that's something that you say all the time. It's easy to buy a property, right? And he said, by the time, from when I started, looking for the property to taking possession of it, it was 6 weeks or something like that.
Yeah.
Super easy process. Said, but then I have to manage this property for 15, 20 years. And so that's the part where it's all the stuff you need to know. And he's like, so on the podcast, Wayne needs to shut the F up sometimes and just let you talk because I want to hear what you have to say. It's I need to manage this thing. I need to know what Gabby has to say. So
fair enough.
Yeah, I just thought I'd mention that.
I appreciate
little feedback.
Positive feedback?
Yeah.
Positive?
But I guess that also shows that everything that we do share about acquiring properties and about just the basics of understanding how to properly buy good businesses, right?
Yeah.
Can be simple.
Yeah.
Yeah, you just like you need to know how to run the numbers, you need to know what you're looking for, what works, make sure the math works, and it can be super simple. So I think that that is a compliment in
Yeah.
itself, right?
Yeah, it's interesting. So to take that further in a different direction, but it just reminded me of something because I had a few coaching calls, one-on-one coaching calls with some of our students in our mentorship program this weekend, and one of them is kind of getting further along. He's now been in the program for over a year. So it's a 12-month mentorship program. It's just like you pay for 12 months and then you have the option to renew afterwards. Um, Generally speaking, I always say that when you join the mentorship program, it's just a lot of education in the beginning. So we have a lot of courses that you can watch depending on which one applies to you. We really focus on the fundamentals in the first 3 months. We really want to get you up to speed with how to invest properly, right? How to understand the fundamentals, how to understand the cash flow test. So you can just buy good rental properties right away, right? And not just like Wayne telling you what a good rental property is, you understanding what a good rental property is. We want you to be able to make that decision confidently and not just because someone told you it was a good idea. Mm-hmm. We want you to believe it. Yeah. So that's what our main focus is for the first 3 months or so. And then after that, we like to get right into taking action immediately, as soon as possible. Like, because, if you're going to pay for 12 months, I want you to get something from it. I want you to have something tangible, some sort of an actual return on that investment within the first 12 months, not just focusing on education. Too many programs out there, all they do is they just like educate, and then no one ever actually takes any action. So you don't actually get any actual returns on the investment immediately. And that's my goal, is to make sure that you get something, right? And not just knowledge. Because if you're just getting knowledge, then I don't know, like you're just an overeducated person who hasn't gotten any returns. You haven't actually gotten anything from it. So anyways, that's typically how we structure it. And then, so we want people to work on, taking action. But as soon as you take action, that's when like everything else starts to come in now. It's like, we don't want you to get, bogged down on like how to find tenants and how to fill out an application, or how to create an application, how to screen a tenant, how to set up your bookkeeping, how to set up your accounts. What about joint accounts? What about joint accounts with joint venture partners? What about credit checks? What about how to set up quarterly inspections? What about, come on, keep going. This is your area of expertise, Gabby.
Yeah, well, there's
keep going,
literally
keep going,
a million
keep going,
questions.
Keep going. I'm making a point.
How to evict a tenant? What to do if rent is late? What to do, how to build your power team, how to know who to call when things go wrong.
Last month of tenancy, tenant says, use my damage deposit. I'm not paying rent. All these different types of things. What about when it comes time for taxes? All of these other little things, we don't want to bog you down with that stuff. What we want to do is we want to get you taking action, and then we're here to support you and handhold you throughout all those different things. So we have weekly coaching sessions. You have unlimited Q&A with us. We answer those questions as you go, but we don't want people to get too overwhelmed with all that stuff, trying to figure it all out first. And so anyways, the student that I was speaking with over the weekend, he's kind of all past that now. He's gotten his first property. He understands the fundamentals. He's building up his brand. He's working on the marketing. He's working on getting his joint ventures. He's past the whole 12 months now, and he's starting getting into the more advanced stuff. So we're really talking more about like planning long-term, reverse engineering his goals, taking everything he's learned and being like, okay, now how do I apply this to goal setting? And we're really taking it to the next level. And it was good because now he's starting to see the next level of advanced coaching that we're offering in the mentorship program as he continues on, right? Mm-hmm. And I had a really good conversation with him about that. And he's actually planning out even like a huge job, career change. He's going to be looking at a big career change. He's looking at big picture now, which is really exciting. And so to Luke's comment, I would say 85% of our coaching with our students is on that stuff that you're talking about.
Yes.
That stuff that you're talking about. And I don't know, I guess sometimes on the podcast, I focus more on the fundamental stuff. Mm-hmm. And then I almost skip to the more advanced stuff for the people that have been listening for a while. But I personally don't like talking about the landlord and tenant stuff on the show. I find it boring. If I were listening to that on my drive in, I would probably fall asleep at the wheel and cause a huge pileup accident on the highway. I'm just being, but it's good. I appreciate that feedback because what you're telling me is what you want. And that's important. And if you guys want to hear more of something, you just let us know. If that's the stage that you're at and that's what you want to hear more about, maybe next time don't say, Wayne, shut the fuck up. Maybe next time say, hey, would it be possible that Gabby can walk through this today?
Yeah,
that
ask
would
the
be a better
questions.
a better way of structuring it and getting what you want out of this.
Yeah.
Guys, this is just like a relationship. You have to tell us what you want.
Communication.
Communication is key. So whatever it is that you guys are looking for from this relationship
Yeah.
that we have, you just need to ask us. So show up
And
like you have been. Ask those questions, okay?
Yeah.
I see Fabian's in the comments is how to screen tenants. All right.
Yeah, and I'm going to challenge Luke to send in some questions of stuff that he's interested in knowing more about. So I expect to see that early this week.
Sometimes we kind of get deep into some topics. Like when we come back from the break, we're going to be talking about this this firm real estate firm that's planning on buying $500 million worth of stagnant, empty condos in Toronto.
Yeah.
And sometimes I'm getting into that. And then like, if you're like, yeah, but like, how do you screen tenants? It might not be the best time for it. So if we miss your question during the live show, it happens sometimes because we're deep in a conversation. Don't be afraid to email it in.
Yes.
Like I said, info@reimorningshow.com. Send in your questions. We'll read them for you. Actually, we have a ton of questions that have come in by email recently that I have yet to get to. I've just been trying to find a way to kind of put them all together.
Make shows out of them.
Make a show out of it. So that way it's not like a hodgepodge of like 70 different questions. But we're going to be diving into a lot of those questions and getting them answered this week. So sending your questions, absolutely. Send them by email and we can get to them. And if you want to hear more about everything that Gabby has to say, we can absolutely do that. And I apologize for not allowing you to speak more.
It's okay. I'm fine. I'm good over here. I speak on the stuff that I know about, and it's good.
I think that's
I like it that way.
I think that's probably one of our best qualities is the fact that we don't talk about things that we're not comfortable with.
Yeah.
To translate, we do not talk out of our ass, right?
Yes.
And we speak on the things that we know, and I think that hopefully people can appreciate that. Is that if we're not experts on something, we're not gonna speak on it, or at the very least, we're gonna preface by saying, "Hey, not an expert on this. Go do your own research." Okay, so we're gonna take a quick little commercial break. When we come back, we're gonna talk about this real estate firm that is looking to purchase $500 million worth of Toronto condos and convert them into rental properties. We'll be right back.
You are a professional real estate investor. You are not a professional boxer. And you are definitely not a professional bookkeeper. Enter Fingo. Fingo is a professional bookkeeping service by and for professional real estate investors. Your life just got a whole lot easier, and your profits are ready to soar. Leave the bookkeeping to Fingo so you can focus on what's most important, finding the next deal and raising money for it. Schedule your free consultation at fingo.com.
And we are back. Just a quick note before I get into this. For anyone that came out to the Edmonton Real Estate Investing Bus Tour on this past Saturday, and you are interested in building multi-unit garden suites, there will be an opportunity to learn more here. And for everyone that wasn't there as well, there will be an opportunity to learn more here. We have an in-person event coming up here very soon. The date's going to be on
June 13th.
June 13th. You should be able to, or you should be hearing about the full details of that event here, either today or tomorrow. That'll be Tuesday or Wednesday. Full details on that. We're going to be having a full information session on anyone that's interested in doing that. So if you own a property in Edmonton, this is specifically for Edmonton because this does not apply to every market. This is something that you guys are going to learn, is that there were lots of people over the weekend being like, how do I do this in Red Deer? How do I do this in Ponoka? Sorry, it only works in Edmonton, okay? But it's a tremendous opportunity for Edmonton investors. So if you've got a property in Edmonton with a big lot, I'm talking a property with a big old booty in the back that is being underutilized, and you want to start getting some cash flow from that booty.
Oh my God.
There's some marketing, there's some branding
that's
going on in my head right now. Let's get that.
No, just stop. Just move on.
We're gonna call it the
Just move
moneymaker.
on. Just move
I'm
on.
sorry, that's terrible. I'm
Just
sorry.
move on.
We'll cut that out. If you've got a big lot and you cannot lie, and you want to start earning some cash flow from it, and you want to build a multi-unit garden suite in the back, stay tuned. Huge opportunities here in Edmonton, and there'll be a full information session with Edmonton Garden Suites coming up on June 13th. Full details coming soon. Okay, let's look at this article. Okay. So, a major real estate story coming out of Toronto right now is making headlines this week, and I think Canadian investors should be paying attention to this. According to CBC, Montreal-based private equity firm Gesta Group is planning to buy roughly $500 million worth of unsold Toronto condo units. And what they're planning on doing is turning them into rental housing. The company is reportedly targeting more than 1,000 newly built condo units, taking advantage of the weakness in Toronto's condo market and recent HST rebate changes. Their first purchase under this plan was a roughly $30 million bulk purchase of unsold units in a completed condo building near Toronto Metropolitan University in downtown Toronto. Gesta's strategy appears pretty straightforward. They are approaching developers and asking whether they want to sell off their remaining inventory in bulk. And this tells us a lot about where the Toronto condo market is right now. For the last couple of years, Toronto condos have been under serious pressure. Investor demand has dropped, buyers have been cautious, and borrowing costs have made deals harder to justify. And a lot of new condo inventory has been sitting just unsold. This has created an opportunity. This has created an opening for larger, well-capitalized investors to step in, while smaller investors and regular buyers are kind of just sitting on the sidelines. Most of what I've been seeing personally is that I think that most people, homeowners, home buyers, regular mom and pop investors, I don't think that they're interested in condos anymore in Toronto. There is just too many, and I think that the headlines for this have made it very clear that this is not where you should be spending your money. Now, whether people like this or not, this is how real estate cycles work. When the market gets scary, a lot of everyday buyers, they'll tend to freeze. Investors will freeze. They read a headline, they're like, oh. But institutions with access to capital, large amounts of capital, often start looking for opportunities, right? That's typically when the sharks start to come in. And Gesta is not the only group that's looking at the space either. CBC noted that other corporate entities are also looking at bulk purchases of unsold condo inventory, including the government-backed High Art Capital. That's a $1.3 billion fund recently formed specifically to purchase condo units and convert them into rentals, with some units expected to be offered at affordable rental rates. So I wouldn't be surprised if they're taking advantage of government incentives or possibly other incentives, considering the fact that they're going to be offering affordable rental rates. There are some big takeaways here. First, this shows that distress in one part of the market can create opportunities for another type of investors. Developers need to move inventory. Individual condo investors may be underwater or unable to close. Let me rephrase this. When the individual condo investors are unable to, or underwater, or they're unable to close, this creates a big opportunity for big developers. I'm losing my train of thought here. This creates a big opportunity for institutional investors to come in and kind of swoop in and take advantage of it. Considering the fact that they have huge amounts of money, they get to negotiate in bulk. They get to negotiate those big discounts. And depending on whether they're going to be going directly to the developers like they have been and buying in bulk, or whether they're going to go to investors who maybe have one or two or three, or whether they're just going to go directly to some of the, the homeowners that have purchased this, but they can't close because of financing. They have a huge advantage because of the fact that they just got all of that capital. This is just another example of the shift from ownership housing to rental housing that we're going to be seeing a lot of. These condos were originally built to be sold as individual units. Now some of that stock may become long-term rental inventory instead. Lastly, investors should pay attention to what institutional capital is doing. But you shouldn't just blindly copy it. A $500 million private equity firm can absorb risk very differently than a mom and pop investor buying one condo.
Yeah.
So just because you see a large, institutional investor or a large private equity firm doing this, do not follow what they do. A prime example is I love it, but I hate it when Grant Cardone says, well, look at all these big institutional investors and what these firms are doing. You should be copying what they're doing. Every time he says that, I laugh and I cringe because the mom and pop investor should not be following what institutional investors are doing. They have larger amounts of funds. They can take those hits.
Yeah.
They can fail on 10, 20% of whatever they buy, but the other 80% as well. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Whereas if you're just buying one-offs, that's not a good idea.
Yeah.
Especially like when you're buying into multifamily and things like that. Like, let me put it this way. If you're buying large multifamily deals and this is like your first or second deal and it's not your own capital or you don't have access to a large amounts of capital of your own or that you've raised, I'm sorry, like if you're buying a multifamily property, you're buying something that a large firm has already passed on, right? Mm. So you're not getting A and B deals. You're getting like D and F deals. Right. So I do not like it when people say, follow what the big investors are doing. You can't. You're not playing the same game.
Yeah.
So for everyday investors, the lesson is not necessarily go buy a Toronto condo. The lesson is to understand market cycles. That's what I'm trying to get at here. Gesta, the firm we were talking about, may be making a major bet on Toronto's long-term rental demand. But for the average Canadian investor, this story is really a reminder that real estate in general is cyclical. Markets cool down, inventory builds, fears take over, and eventually the investors with patience and capital, and a clear strategy, they start positioning themselves for the next phase, right?
Yeah.
That does not mean that every deal is a good deal. I need to really stress that. It means that when the headlines get negative, smart investors should start paying attention.
Yeah.
Right? And that's how we build out our portfolio. I'm constantly looking at what is the next thing. And we were talking about that over the weekend, weren't we?
Yeah, I think what this article highlights is that when things, change in the market, that it always creates different opportunities. And in this case, we're talking about an opportunity for, massive institutions. But it showcases that is part of the cycle. Mm-hmm. And, and this happens on a much smaller scale all the time as well in every city across the country. And so it's just showing you just at a much larger scale of when there's downturns of how people can still take advantage of those types of cycles in the market, right? And something that I'm curious about is, we're talking about these institutions buying massive amounts of condos, like massive. Well, that one institution said what, $500 million?
Yep.
And that was just one. Said there's many others. There was a government-backed one with 1.3 billion or something like that.
Yeah.
So we're talking mass amounts of inventory being eaten up by these institutions and taking them from the housing market and putting them into the rental market. So my question is, what does that mean for the rental market as a whole when you're taking that much inventory and just plopping it down into the rental market? What does that mean for everybody else, for the moms and pops and regular everyday investors when that much inventory hits?
Do you see what Gabby's doing there? Do you see what she's doing? What she's doing is she's not paying attention to what people are doing. She's paying attention to what happens when people do that. And if you can predict what people are going to do, you can predict what the after effect is going to be, right? The ripple effect. Every action creates a reaction, and every action creates another action, right? And it ripples. So if this is to happen, if thousands of unsold condos, that whether they were pre-sales or whether they couldn't sell them once it was completed, if they get bought up by big firms and they turn them into rentals, and a majority of those rentals become affordable rentals in that area, what does that do to the rental market in that area? Because now what you're doing is you're taking properties off of the real estate market that are for sale, and you're putting them into rental stock. And previous to that happening, there was a certain amount of rental stock available, and there were a certain amount of people looking for rentals, tenants. What happens when you add another 1,000 to the rental stock in that area? Now, Toronto's a pretty big market. Mm-hmm. I don't know how much of a dent it's going to put into it, but let's just play a game. Let's say there are 10,000 rentals, or there are 10,000 one-bedroom rentals in that area, and you add 1,000 more. You just added 10% more rental stock, which is giving the tenants 10% more options to choose from. And what that's going to do is it's going to increase the vacancy rate. And when tenants have more to choose from, they're less inclined to be desperate or motivated to jump on the first one that becomes available. Perhaps when they go and view a rental property, they're like, okay, we'll let you know. And they take a few days to think about it. Mm-hmm. And then when they go back in a few days, that rental is still there, right? But if they took a few days to think about it and then they went back and they thought about, yeah, you know what, that first one that we looked at was really good. They find out it's gone. Suddenly their mentality, their approach to this is going to be changing a little bit. So they won't do that again. The next one that they like, they're definitely going to sign it immediately. And when there's that level of demand, the landlord or the owner of that property is going to see that demand. They're going to feel that demand. When you put a listing up and you get 50 people reaching out saying, I want to see it tonight, you're like, whoa, I don't think I'm priced right.
Yeah.
I think that I need to increase my rent. Am I right? Additional thoughts on that?
No, absolutely. That's how
I'm supposed to let you talk. I stopped. I was supposed to let you talk and you were just silent.
I thought it was a dramatic pause.
You see, Luke?
I was doing the finger motions for those of you on video. Prices go up. Yes, when the demand is hot and when there's not enough inventory, the natural thing that happens is that landlords have the ability to raise their rents, right?
Yeah.
It's a natural market cycle. But when the opposite happens and you have an abundance of inventory hit the market, and there's the same amount of people who were previously fighting for the inventory that existed. And now it's like, oh, there's all this other stuff that opened up and we have all these other options. Suddenly they're not desperate. And we, the landlords, become desperate. Oh my gosh, it's been listed for a month. I've had a month vacancy. I'm starting to sweat. I'm starting to panic. What am I going to do? I need to lower my rents. And sometimes it takes a little bit of time for that to all come to fruition, for it to all transpire, and for the masses, not every lease is ending at the same time. So maybe there's a few people where their leases end and they're starting to feel a little bit of what's going on? There's not many people looking at my property. And then the next month, a whole bunch more leases end. And then those people are like, oh my God. And then more and more and more so that takes time over several months where more and more landlords start to feel that pinch. And then everybody starts to panic and all the landlords start to lower their rent. And now we have lowered rents. The market is saying this is now what these are worth. And we've shifted the market.
And had they never done it in the first place, what would happen? We would have, in this case, where like the example where I said there was 10,000 rentals in a market and we added 1,000 rentals to the market. Had we not added those 1,000 rentals, we would have had a stronger business. Mm-hmm. So who benefits from it? No one. I mean, the one corporation that buys all the properties at a discount because they're buying at a discounted bulk rate. Yeah, I mean, they get a discounted price and what? But then they ruin the rental market and they don't get the rents that they wanted to get.
Yeah.
And then it sucks for everybody else.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah.
I personally, like, I'm all for development. I'm all for infill. But at a reasonable pace.
Yes. Yes. And what I've said a lot in the past, and I'm going to say it again, is I don't want a super hot market in either direction. I don't want landlords to be in a position where the rental demand is so hot that we're just constantly increasing rental rates and making it more and more out of reach for everyday Canadians to be able to afford to rent a place. I don't want that. I don't like, yes, my business is cash flowing extremely well. And, you know, it's nice to see it on paper. But what I'm also seeing on the back end of that is the applications get worse and worse and affordability get worse and worse. And more people are defaulting on being able to pay rent. I don't want that. I don't want to be evicting my tenants. I don't want them to not have a place to rent. I don't want more homelessness. I don't want any of that. And then on the other side, I don't want it where we have so much inventory on the market that landlords are, you know, now being, maybe they haven't built it quite right and now they're being forced to sell properties. And, you know, on the polar opposites, what I want is just a nicely balanced market where we can charge fair rents, where it makes sense, where we're able to cover our costs, the tenant is able to afford it, and it's just a nice, happy, healthy situation. And that's where Edmonton was for a really long time that we've been investing, is just there was an appropriate amount of inventory, there was an appropriate amount of renters. The math worked. It wasn't like, oh my God, check this out, but it worked. It was great.
Yeah.
And we've gotten away from that massively in the past several years. And I'd rather not be here.
Yeah.
Right? I'm not saying I'd rather not be here doing what we're doing, investing. Just I'd rather be in
the current state.
Yeah. In a nice, normal, chill, boring market.
We need, well, not boring. We just need it in moderation.
Yes.
We need moderation.
Yeah.
And the problem
Slow
so here's what's happening is the swings are too big.
Mm-hmm.
We're going from one, you know, end of the pendulum to the other end. It's just going like this constantly. And it's just like we keep overshooting. So in a situation where we bring in way too many people, you know, they increase the immigration numbers because we needed to. They reacted, right? But they overreacted. And they're bringing too many people and they're not building at a fast enough pace. And then so they say, okay, there's not enough housing for people. So what are we going to do? We're going to throw $5.2 billion at this. We're going to go directly to the municipalities. We're going over the provinces. And we're going to go right to the municipalities and say, make us a proposal. We'll throw some money at you just so that you can help us build more homes and more purpose-built rentals. And they throw so much money at it and it makes a huge dramatic change. And they go,
boom.
And then, boom, it's too much.
Yeah.
And they overdo it. And so suddenly now the rents are starting to come down and everybody's like, yay, rents are affordable. Lots of, you know, rental properties. And it sounds all great, you know, mission accomplished, right? I've been saying it for years. The Housing Accelerator Fund worked. Say what you will about the government. It fucking worked, but it worked way too fucking good. It actually worked. You guys aren't realizing it, but the rents are coming down. There are more rentals available. They actually motivated investors from across the country, and not just like big, huge institutional investors. They motivated the mom and pops to refinance their properties, to ask their mom and their dad and their cousins for some joint venture capital. And a majority of these infill projects in these major cities are all mom and pop investors.
Yep.
It's the assistant grocery manager at IGA.
Yep.
That owns 16, 20, 40. I just built 48 units. Like, this is fucking ridiculous. They did it. But because they made it so simple and so easy, they overshot. Now there's too many rentals. Now what's happening? Well, we're starting to hear conversations about Gerald, the assistant manager at IGA, suddenly is not getting the rents that he wants, and he's not able to close. And CMHC or whoever his lender is saying that he needs to put an additional 7% in. But he's like, oh, fuck me, I don't have $170,000 to close this financing. So he's frantically trying to figure out, now he's trying to fire sale it. Now he's trying to sell it. And everybody's looking at this like, oh, everybody's selling these things. I don't know if I should buy them. Yeah. And now the values are starting to plummet. The rents are coming down. You see, we're overshooting it, right? We overdid it. And this is why Gabby's like, in moderation. Yeah. In moderation. We don't want to overswing too much, because now we're in a situation where now the rental market, they're saying, isn't as strong. No, the rental market's really good for tenants right now because we added way too many too quickly, right? And so now we're in a situation where we're like, it's a bit of a slump for the rental market. Now nobody wants to put any money into the rental market because they're afraid. Now I keep hearing people saying that, oh, like it's not a good time to be investing. There's too much. The vacancy rates are too high. So I'm thinking about selling my property that I bought 2 years ago. So it's actually having ripple effects on this. Whereas like the bozo who doesn't know anything about real estate investing, who's not even affected by this, is making emotional, dramatic decisions based off of headlines. The guy over here who bought a single family house, in Southeast Calgary for $720,000, didn't know what the hell he was doing. Now he's selling it because he's like, oh, the rental market's not very good right now. Mm-hmm. So it's like doing collateral damage to other things that aren't even affected, like that shouldn't even be affected by this. See what I mean? The ripple effects of all of these big decisions that are being made. So what's going to happen is people are going to pull their capital out of these markets, and then people are going to stop buying these rental properties, and then something's going to happen in a few years from now where it's going to go the other way, and then they're like, oh, we don't have enough. We need, like, see what I mean? It just goes big fucking wrecking ball going back and forth, just smacking into things on the way. So ideally, I'm not a big fan of these big swings. I would prefer that we do things in more moderation. I can get into a huge rant about my feelings about Alberta and the building and things like that. A lot of people were, reaching out to me, speaking to me this weekend, saying, I know your feelings are about CMHC. I'm like, you do not understand my feelings about CMHC and my select. You are completely misunderstood. What I don't like is the swings. Because as an investor, I'm constantly forced to adapt and pivot because of what dumb people are doing and the way that they're reacting to headlines. The cool thing is that because we are so incredibly wise, we can spot how people are going to react all the time, right? And we can see the opportunities that are coming. And we can understand that if we know everyone's going to do this, then what does that mean that's coming next? What opportunity is coming next? And that's kind of what we were talking about, right, Gabby?
Yes. Yeah. And so, yeah, I mean, it is a question going back to Toronto of, what will happen to the rental market there when those units do hit the rental market. Just looking at it in its basic, you can expect rents to go down, yes, right? When there's a lot of inventory that's going to hit a market, you can expect that, it'll take time. It's not going to be immediate, but you can expect that over several months of that hitting and more options becoming available to the tenants, that'll be a natural reaction to it, is that rents will start to go down.
Yeah. And also, I mean, at the same time, it's going to be taking stock off of the real estate market.
Yeah.
For home buyers and for investors. And what eventually will happen, is that as that, stock of condos that are for sale drops, people's sentiment towards it, the feelings around it will definitely change. Immigration and migration will catch up. We still constantly have people moving to every location, right? And especially Toronto being a huge hub for immigration. A lot of people move to Toronto first. There's always going to be a need for those types of rental properties and those types of purchases. So eventually the population will continue to increase, and we will catch up to the supply of rental stock. We'll catch up to the supply of housing stock as well. And I think that eventually we will hit some sort of a shortage again, and then they'll react and correct. Like it's always just a constant correction or an overcorrection. And so I think for right now, based on this, if it does actually happen and they see that as a solution to the problem, which was they overbuilt that pre-sale condo thing that they did, that development pre-sale condo thing that they did back in the early 2020s was just the dumbest thing in the world. And you could see it coming from a mile away. Tried to warn everybody. Tried to warn everyone not to do it, but, you know, people do what they do. Calgary, Montreal, Ottawa, Toronto, Vancouver. You're feeling it. If you own one, yeah. Not exactly the wisest decision in the world. But now they're correcting it. They're trying to find a way to, how do we solve this problem? And I wouldn't be surprised if the government's involved with having, you know, conversations with these large firms, trying to come up with a solution. Hey, we need to figure something out. And they're going to try and look at it from the perspective of like, how can we get two birds stoned at once? To quote the Trailer Park Boys. How can we solve this problem, but create opportunities or solve another problem simultaneously? So by doing that, hey, we'll give you incentives. We'll help you do this if you help us and invest in these and turn them into rental properties. All we ask is that you make them affordable, right? In an area that is arguably very difficult to find affordable rental housing, right? So I wouldn't be surprised if they were involved.
Yeah.
But by adding that, it's going to create a ripple effect. Something else is going to happen. So you as an investor, you are not a large institutional investor. You do not have $500 million at your disposal. But what you do have is the ability to take action on a smaller scale, which is a little bit more difficult for equity firms, large equity firms. They can't go and buy a single family house. Grant Cardone, the reason why they don't go and buy single family homes is because it doesn't make sense. It's hard to get financing for things like that. And if large firms were taking $500 million and buying single family homes, I'm pretty fucking sure it would make the news and then everybody would be up in arms about it. So it's not realistic for them to do. But you have an opportunity, being a smaller fish, to be able to come in and get into areas where they can't. They can't park their bus in that parking lot. They can't get the opportunities that you can get. So pay close attention to what they're doing and how that's going to affect the local market or how that's going to affect the market on the other side of the country. And see if you can get in and take advantage of unique opportunities, which they can't get access to, right? And if you can learn to spot those unique opportunities, like we do, and like our students do in the REI Masters Mentorship Program, then you'll start winning. You'll start winning like we are. Why is Wayne suddenly so hot and horny for Edmonton Garden Suites? Why? Why has he been working on it since June of 2024, and why is he just now bringing it up? Why? You should be asking those questions. I'm not going to tell you. You should be asking those questions. Why so much focus? Why Edmonton townhouses? Why? Be curious, my friends. Ask yourself. Think about it on your drive today. There must be a reason. This guy is not a fucking moron. He knows what he's doing. Right? Maybe? Do I? Or am I just full of shit? I don't know.
I do not think you're a moron, and I think you know what you're doing.
I got an interesting track record.
Yeah.
Seems to be nothing but positives.
Mm-hmm.
You're paying close attention.
Yeah.
Right? And though this is a free resource that we provide for you every single morning, and I always give the extra bonus tips for the ones that stick around for the full hour. So you have to stay to the end of the show in order to get the bonus tips. Okay. Though this is a free hour of education and coaching, I leave breadcrumbs. I leave lots of breadcrumbs for you guys to take advantage of. And I see the ones that, those of you that are coming along and just being like, ooh, piece of candy. Ooh, piece of candy. Ooh, piece of candy. I see you. And I applaud you, right? If you listen to the show every day, if you pay close attention, you will see the breadcrumbs. And there are opportunities for you to go and get those pieces of candy. And leave them right out, right? Like the little Easter bunny. Okay? There's opportunities out there, guys. Seriously, this is easy. Once you understand what's happening and once you understand how to spot these opportunities, real estate investing is super easy. And then once you acquire those properties, once you get those really good deals, once you take advantage of those opportunities and you realize those gains, there is a whole business behind it. There's a whole business of real estate investing that you need to understand. And Luke, you are 100% correct. We should be listening to more Gabby on that side, because it doesn't matter how great the deal is. It doesn't matter how amazing the opportunity was. If you can't operate that business day to day, if you can't keep that business running for 15 to 20 years efficiently, like a well-oiled machine, and reducing your risks on that side of the business, you're never going to succeed. Nothing worse than getting a really amazing deal and then not knowing how to run that business, and then being forced to sell it when it's a bad time to sell. So you are right, Luke. Luke, we should be listening to Gabby more. And if you guys want to learn more about the business side of it, the operations and the systems for running this business, for keeping that portfolio, right? I'll show you how to build a portfolio. I'll show you how to raise the money. I'll show you about the next big opportunity. I'll show you how to spot those opportunities. I'll show you when to exit. I'll show you all the different creative strategies, right? But you got to keep that. Whatever you earn, you got to keep it. And it takes time. It takes 15 to 20 years in order to do this right. So pay close attention. Gabby and I are, very much a yin-yang thing going on, where you can see the value that I bring in my expertise, and you can see the value in the expertise that Gabby brings, right? So keep listening to every day on the show. Keep listening to the show. Keep asking questions. Keep being curious, okay? Follow along. Pick up those breadcrumbs and those pieces of candy. We're leaving them out, guys, right? Huge opportunities. And when we present opportunities to you, when we are holding events, when we are holding bus tours or information sessions and things like that, I highly encourage you to attend. Highly encourage you. You hear what I'm saying? Is this loud enough?
Is this on?
Can they hear? Is this thing on? Pay close attention. Because these opportunities are only here for as long as they're here. Opportunities come and go. And in considering, as much as I try to have an influence on the market, I have a very, very small influence in the market. That wrecking ball is just human nature, human reactions. I cannot control how humans react. I can't. I can't control how home buyers react, how small-scale investors react, how large-scale investors react. They do what they do. What I can do, what I have control over, is how I react to them, how I understand how they're going to react to things, so I can see ahead, right? But I have little control over it. So I say all that to say that when an opportunity presents itself, the wrecking ball goes in one direction. We just have no idea how long before it swings back in the other direction, right? Yeah. So you don't have a whole lot of time to think about it. You got to be able to recognize the opportunities quickly, and you need to be able to strike quickly before that opportunity is gone, right? So take advantage, please, of the opportunities that are ahead of you, that are in front of you right now. Go out there this week. Don't fucking think about it anymore. It's time to take action. And if you don't understand how to take action, and if you're not confident enough, keep listening to the show. Bring the questions. And if you still can't figure it out, you still don't know how to do it, you just need someone to help you, reach out. That's what we have a one-on-one coaching program for. That's what our mentorship program is all about. It's about educating you as quickly as possible to understand the fundamentals so you can immediately start taking action. I don't want to drag out the education any longer than it needs to. I also don't want you to jump into it not prepared. So I want to get you educated as quickly as possible so you can start taking action, taking advantage of these opportunities that are right here in front of you. If you want that mentorship, if you want that hand-holding, the ability to ask us questions any time of day, to review your deals, to go through your contracts, and all of the other things that come with it, reach out. Go to reimasters.ca. reimasters.ca. Reach out, book a discovery call. I'll tell you if it's right for you.
Yeah. In the comments, Leanne's here. She says, the way I would have so much FOMO if I wasn't in the REI Masters. Loving this.
Absolutely. Leanne and Kyle are taking, I was going to say massive. I want to say monstrous action. Like, seriously, how many properties they bought in the last few months?
Several.
Three?
3? Yeah.
3 or 4. And when did they join? I don't have access to it right on me, but I want to say like 6 months ago. Less than 6 months.
I'd say less.
Less than 6 months. They'll remind us. But anyways, less than 6 months, right? And they were already investors beforehand. They had already owned rental properties.
Yeah, for a long time. Yeah.
And that's okay too. I'll say that. Like a lot of people, they're like, oh, I already own rental properties. I've already been doing this for a long time. I've been doing it for 10 years. Just because you've been doing it for 10 years doesn't mean you're doing it right. I'm not trying to be mean. I'm just saying that there's a lot of things that you don't know.
Yeah.
Right? And if you're coachable, if you're receptive enough in order to learn, if you're open enough to learn and to accept the things that you do not understand and to actually be coached, there's a huge opportunity for everyone to learn. Anybody can go and buy a property. Look at how many people bought Toronto condos.
Yeah.
And look at how many people are regretting their decisions.
Yeah.
Right? Anybody can buy a property, but they joined in December. So that would be
3 properties in 5 months.
3 properties in 5 months. Wow. That's amazing.
Yeah. Incredible. Yeah.
Big shout out to Leanne and Kyle.
Yeah. And Kirsten also says in the chat here, have to get on the bus before it leaves or you miss out. There's a reason the action takers are leaps and bounds ahead.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You truly do not know what you don't know.
Yeah.
Okay, guys, thank you so much for joining us today. Tomorrow, we'll be right back at it. We will see you guys in the morning.
Have a great day.
Thanks for listening. Want to be coached personally by Wayne and Gabby? Then you should join the Real Estate Investing Masters Mentorship Program. Details are in the show notes to get started.